Okay, so we are taking our quiz today. So before we get started, I would just want to review with you a couple quick things. So hopefully you'll do well on your quiz. The first thing is just to simplify the radical expression. So just make sure you can use a calculator in here. If you do, you'll be rounding it to the nearest hundredth, which is 2 places. But the square root of 169 does equal 13. Just remember you have to choose. Here you're just looking for the positive version because we're simplifying. For number 2, square root of 0 is always just 0. There's no positive or negative involved with zeros. Number 3, you have square root of 81, but because you have the plus minus sign on the outside, you want both answers, the positive and the negative 9. And for number 4, you have a negative outside here, so you just want the negative 7. Couple other things. If you get a negative on the inside like this, then it doesn't matter what it equals. You're just writing no real solution, or whatever choice is similar to that. Okay. Then we were focusing on using square roots to solve equations. So you want to get that x squared by itself and then round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. For these, you're finding all the values for x. So that means you want the positive and the negative for every single problem. So number 7, since the x squared's by itself already, you just have to square root it and you would get positive and negative 8 for your 2 answers. For number 8, you want to get that x squared by itself first. So you're going to add the 72 to the other side. 2x squared equals 72. Divide by 2, so you get x squared equals 36. Square root it, and you would get both answers, the positive and the negative 6. For number 9, getting that x squared by itself. So you're going to divide both sides by 5. X squared equals, and you get 25. Square root both sides. X equals the positive and the negative 5. Number 10, you want to get this x squared by itself. So you're going to subtract the 7 from both sides. You end up with x squared equals negative 19. Now, when you go to take the square root, you can't take the square root of a negative, so your answer is just going to be no real solution. Okay, number 11 and 12. Number 11, we're adding 13. So we have 3x squared equals 24. Divide by 3, x squared equals 8, square root both sides. Now this time you're going to get a decimal. So when you go in your calculator and you do the square root of 8, whoops, hold on, let me clear this out for a minute. So if you do the square root of 8, you're going to get 2.828, which I'm going to round to 2.83. And don't forget, you need the positive and the negative for that. All right, number 12, we want to get the x squared by itself here. So we're going to add the 3. 1/2 x squared equals 18. Now you're going to multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of that fraction. So you'll get x squared equals 36. And then when you square root that, you get your 2 answers, positive and negative 6. All right, then I just want to pull up a couple more practice problems, if I can find this. Because the one other type of problem that we did not get to practice was when there were the parentheses. And I don't know if there's any on here. All the way down here. Okay, so let's go over these couple. So if you're taking a look at like 19, for example, because the square is outside the parentheses, we have to square root that first. So this gives you x minus 3 equals positive and negative, and then your square root of 5, you can change it to a decimal, which is 2.24 if I round it. 2.24. Now you're going to add 3 to that. But remember, you have to do it to both of the numbers. You have to add 3 to the positive 2.24, making it 5.24. And you're going to add it to the negative 2.24, making it 0.76. So those are your two answers. So let's try for number 20. So we want to square root both sides first. So now I have x plus 2 equals positive and negative, and the square root of 10 is 3.16. Now we're going to subtract 2 from that. So when I do 3.16 minus 2, I get 1.16. But then when I have negative 3.16 minus 2, I get negative 5.16. You're going to have both answers there. All right, and then finally for number 21, if you had a number up front, remember we do not want to distribute that because we have that little exponent there, so you just want to divide it. And that would give you 6. Then you do the same thing, square root both sides. You have a positive or negative. Let's see, the square root of 6 is 2.45. And then you would add 4. So x equals 6.45 and 1.55. And that's it. So make sure most of them, I mean, it is a multiple choice setup, so you shouldn't have an issue forgetting the positives and negatives. Just make sure when you're doing numbers like 19 and 20, you make sure you calculate both answers. And that's pretty much it. So try to get that quiz done. That way Friday is a flex day. Just focus on getting anything made up that you need to get made up. And that's going to be about it. And then enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great day.